Pause for a moment, because the energy surrounding you on August 26th is extremely interesting. There is something that someone has been trying to keep quiet. And the strange part is that you may already know more than they think you know. You may not have proof. You may not have been told directly. But something inside you has been connecting the dots. You noticed a change in someone's tone. You noticed that somebody suddenly became distant. You noticed that a conversation didn't quite make sense. And now you're beginning to understand why. Gemini, someone around you may be realizing that you're much more observant than they gave you credit for. They thought they could hide their intentions. They thought you wouldn't notice the little details. But Gemini has one major advantage. You listen to what people say, but you also notice what they don't say. And on August 26th, that ability becomes especially important. There may be a person who suddenly becomes more careful around you. They may choose their words. They may avoid certain subjects. They may even act differently because they're wondering what you already know. And you could be sitting there thinking, why are they suddenly acting like that? Because something about you has changed. You're not asking as many questions anymore. You're observing. You're letting people reveal themselves, and that can make people nervous. Before we go deeper, if this message resonates with you, stay until the end because there is a very important message coming through about your relationships, your future, and something you've been waiting to understand. And if you enjoy these readings, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, Gemini, I'm seeing an image of a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, and this feels extremely connected to you. The butterfly doesn't become something new because somebody tells it to. It changes naturally. It grows, transforms, and eventually it cannot return to the version of itself that existed before. That's where you are right now. You are becoming someone who doesn't tolerate the same things you once tolerated. You're beginning to recognize patterns much faster. You can sense when someone's words and actions don't match. You can feel when a conversation has an underlying meaning. And sometimes you may even know what somebody is about to say before they say it. People may laugh when you mention these things. They may say you're overthinking. But then something happens and suddenly they look at you differently. Because you were right. Again. And again. And again. That's why I feel someone around you is beginning to take your instincts seriously. There is also a strong communication energy around August 26th. A message could arrive unexpectedly. Someone may contact you after a period of silence. A conversation that was postponed could finally happen. And there may be information revealed during that conversation that confirms something you already suspected. For some Gemini, this could involve a friendship. For others, family. For some, a romantic connection. And for others, this could be connected to work or money. The common theme is information. Something you didn't have the full picture of before is becoming clearer. And Gemini, when you finally have all the pieces, you're going to understand why certain things felt strange. I'm also getting the number 333. For many people, 333 is associated with encouragement, alignment, and moving forward with greater confidence. Whether you personally see meaning in repeating numbers or simply take this as a symbolic message, the theme is clear. You're being encouraged to trust your growth. You've learned a lot from the situations you've experienced. Some experiences were difficult. Some were confusing. But they taught you how to read situations differently. You don't react the same way anymore. And that's important. Now let's talk about someone who may be watching you from a distance. This doesn't necessarily mean literally watching you. It could simply mean they're paying attention to what you're doing. They're noticing your progress. They're wondering what you're planning. And they may be surprised because they expected you to remain where you were. But Gemini, you are moving. You're changing your priorities. You're becoming more selective about who gets access to your time. And that shift can make certain people uncomfortable, especially people who benefited from the old version of you. They may wonder why you're no longer responding the same way, why you're not explaining yourself, why you're not chasing them. Why you're suddenly focused on your own life? The answer is simple. You've realized that your energy is valuable, and you're becoming more careful about where you spend it. Now, I want to talk about love. For Gemini in a relationship, August 26th could bring an important conversation. Something that has been left unsaid may finally come to the surface. This doesn't necessarily mean something negative. Sometimes honesty creates closeness. Someone may finally tell you how they really feel. They may explain why they behaved a certain way. Or they may admit that they've been thinking about something for longer than you realized. For single Gemini, there is another interesting possibility. Someone who has been quietly interested in you may become more obvious. They might send a message. They may suddenly start interacting with you more. Or you could find yourself having an unexpected conversation with someone you didn't realize was paying attention. But don't rush. Observe. Let them show you their intentions through consistency, not just words. Because one of your lessons right now is learning the difference between attention and genuine interest. Someone can be fascinated by you without being ready to build something real. And Gemini, you deserve clarity. You don't need to decode somebody forever. If they want to be in your life, their actions should eventually make that clear. Now let's move into money and career. I feel a strong idea energy around you. You may suddenly have an idea that could become important later. It might seem small at first, but don't dismiss it. Write it down. Think about it. Develop it. Because sometimes the biggest opportunities begin as tiny thoughts that nobody else understands. You may also receive useful information through a conversation. Someone could mention an opportunity. A new project may appear. You may discover another way to use a skill you already have. And Gemini, communication itself could become one of your biggest advantages. Your ability to explain. Your ability to connect people. Your ability to learn quickly. Your ability to adapt. These qualities can open doors. Don't underestimate them. Now, financially, the message is to avoid impulsive decisions. August 26th has an energy of thinking before acting. If you're considering spending a significant amount of money, take your time. If you're considering accepting an opportunity, read the details. If somebody makes a promise, look at what they actually offer. Don't allow excitement to replace judgment. Your intuition can guide you, but practical thinking should stand beside it. That's the perfect combination for Gemini right now. Mind plus intuition.
Logique plus awareness.
Now, there is another person coming through strongly. This person may be intelligent. They may communicate well. They may seem confident. But underneath that confidence, they could be uncertain about themselves. They may compare their progress with yours. They may see how quickly you adapt and wonder how you keep moving forward. And perhaps they don't understand that you've had to learn through experience. They see the result. They don't see everything that happened before it. So don't compare your journey to somebody else's appearance of success. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. And they don't know what happens behind yours. Now I'm getting 7 of Swords type energy around this situation. Again, this doesn't automatically mean betrayal. It can simply represent secrecy, avoidance, incomplete information, or somebody not saying everything they're thinking. If you've been feeling like somebody isn't telling you the whole story, don't immediately confront them. Give the situation time. Watch their actions. The truth usually becomes easier to recognize when you stop forcing people to reveal it. That's a major message for August 26th. Don't chase clarity. Let clarity arrive. You may discover that someone exposes their own intentions without you asking a single question. Now, Gemini, there is also a beautiful energy around personal freedom. You've been thinking about what you actually want, not what other people expect, not what your family expects, not what friends expect, not what society expects. What do you want? That's the question. And you may realize that your answer has changed. That's okay. You are allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to discover that an old dream no longer fits you. You're allowed to create a new dream. You're not obligated to remain the same person forever. And I think that's one of the biggest themes surrounding you now. Transformation. You're leaving behind an old identity. Maybe you've always been the person who fixes everything. Maybe you've always been the person everyone calls when they need something. Maybe you've always tried to keep everybody happy. But you're beginning to understand that you can't carry everyone. You can care. You can support. You can love. But you still need to protect yourself. That's not selfish. That's balance. Now, some Gemini may be feeling emotionally tired. Not necessarily because life is bad, but because you've been thinking too much. Your mind has been running constantly. What if? Why did they say that? What does this mean? Should I do this? Should I wait? Your mind needs rest. So on August 26th, make space for quiet. Take a walk. Listen to music. Spend some time away from unnecessary conversations. Give your brain a chance to reset. Because sometimes the answer appears when you stop searching for it. And that's when your intuition becomes clearer. Now I want to talk about your dreams. Some Gemini may experience unusual dreams around this time. You might dream about someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. You might dream about an old place. You might see doors, roads, water, birds, or travel. Rather than assuming every dream predicts something, look at the emotion behind it. What did you feel? Were you relieved? Excited? Afraid? Confused? Your subconscious can sometimes bring unfinished thoughts to the surface while you're sleeping. And that may help you understand something you've been avoiding during the day. Now, Gemini, I'm also seeing an image of a road splitting into two directions. One road looks familiar. The other looks completely new. And I feel like this represents a choice. You may have a decision coming. One option is comfortable. The other is uncertain but exciting. Don't choose simply because something is familiar. Ask yourself which direction helps you become the person you want to be. Comfort isn't always the same thing as happiness. And uncertainty isn't always a warning. Sometimes uncertainty simply means you're entering territory you've never experienced before. Now let's talk about friendships. You may be realizing that not everybody deserves the same level of access to you. Some people can know everything. Some people only need to know a little. And some people need to remain at a distance. That's not cruelty. That's discernment. You may also notice that you're naturally moving toward people who make you feel lighter. People who encourage you. People who laugh with you. People who don't secretly compete with you. People who can celebrate your success without making it about themselves. Those are the people worth keeping close. And if someone constantly leaves you feeling confused, exhausted, or insecure, pay attention to that pattern. Your body and mind can sometimes recognize what your logic is still trying to explain. Now, there is a beautiful message about your future. Something you've been working toward is not as far away as it feels. You may not see immediate results, but progress is happening. Think about planting a seed. You don't dig it up every morning to check whether it's growing. You water it. You protect it. You give it time. Then eventually you see something breaking through the soil. That's your energy. Keep going. Don't destroy your progress by becoming impatient right before something begins to develop. Now, if you've been waiting for an answer from someone, there could be movement soon. If you've been waiting for an opportunity, watch your messages. If you've been waiting for a decision, information may finally arrive. And if you've been waiting for yourself to feel certain about something, you may realize that certainty doesn't always arrive first. Sometimes you make the decision and confidence comes afterward. That's important. You don't need to feel completely fearless before moving forward. You simply need enough confidence to take the next step. Now, Gemini, let's bring everything together. Someone may be surprised by what you know. Someone may realize you're more observant than they expected. A conversation may reveal something important. A relationship may become clearer. A career idea may appear. A financial decision may require patience. But the most important message is this. Stop doubting yourself every time you notice something. Notice it. Think about it. Check the facts. Then decide what it means. You don't have to immediately act on every feeling. You don't have to ignore every feeling either. Find the middle ground. That's where your power is. And Gemini, don't forget how adaptable you are. You've survived changes before. You've entered new chapters before. You've walked away from things you thought you'd never leave. And you've discovered opportunities you never expected. So if something changes around August 26th, don't automatically assume it's a disaster. Sometimes a closed door is simply redirecting you. Sometimes a delayed answer protects you. Sometimes a person leaving your life creates room for somebody healthier to enter. And sometimes the thing you thought you lost was actually something you had outgrown. Your life is still unfolding. You don't need to know every chapter today. Just keep writing the next one. So Gemini, on August 26th, stay curious. Stay observant. Stay grounded. Don't allow somebody else's confusion to become your confusion. Don't let someone else's insecurity make you question your worth. And don't reveal everything you know just because someone asks. You are allowed to keep some things private. Your plans are yours. Your dreams are yours. Your next chapter is yours. And the more you focus on building your own life, the less interested you'll become in figuring out everyone else's. That's the real transformation. You stop asking, why are they doing this? And you start asking, what am I doing next? That shift changes everything. Gemini, something is becoming clearer. Something you've sensed is beginning to make sense. And by the time the next chapter unfolds, you may look back at August 26th and realize that your instincts were trying to guide you toward exactly where you needed to be. Trust the process. Protect your peace. Keep your mind open. And remember, not every mystery needs to be solved immediately. Some answers reveal themselves when the timing is right.